The story begins in Singapore, where we meet a 38-year-old woman named Ling, who lives with her husband in her father-in-law's house. In this house, Ling's father-in-law also lives, who has suffered a stroke and cannot speak. He spends most of his time in bed, so Ling takes care of him. She has hired a maid to do the household chores. Ling works as a teacher at a language school where students are taught various foreign languages. Ling teaches Chinese to a group of boys at the language school, meaning she is a Chinese language teacher. Ling is generally a quiet person and doesn't like meeting people. Her husband spends most of his time away for work, which causes a strain in their relationship. Even though they have been married for 8 years, Ling is still not a mother. She has always wanted a child and has been hoping for one, so she regularly visits a gynecologist for checkups. One day, when Ling visits the gynecologist for her checkup, she is told that she is improving and might be able to become a mother in the future. This news brings her some relief. After leaving the hospital, she meets a 21-year-old boy named Lu on the way. Lu is one of her students who she teaches Chinese. He had come to see the doctor because he had injured his foot while training in Chinese martial arts. It was raining heavily, so Ling asks Lu to sit in her car, offering to drop him home. Lu agrees and gets into the car. Ling learns that Lu's parents are abroad for business, and he lives alone in Singapore. The next day, Ling is at school, where she conducts a test for some boys. After checking the papers, she realizes that many boys are weak in Chinese, so she decides to take special extra classes for them. Lu is among the boys who need extra lessons. During class, Ling notices some boys have no interest in learning Chinese, and one of them even mocks her. But she doesn't say anything. When Ling returns home, she finds her husband giving her father-in-law a bath. When Ling takes too long to hand him a towel, her husband scolds her. Meanwhile, Ling watches the news and sees that there is a riot in Malaysia, and people are protesting against the government. Ling calls her mother, who lives in Malaysia, and her mother tells her that it is good she is not there as the situation is bad, but that she is fine. The next day, when Ling is conducting the extra class for selective students, her brother visits her. He sells durian fruit but doesn't earn enough to support his family, so he asks Ling for some money, promising to pay her back soon. She gives him the money, and he gives her some durian fruit in return. When Ling returns to class, she finds that only Lu has attended the extra class. He tells her that the others have left because they aren't interested in learning Chinese. When she asks why he stayed, Lu explains that his father has a business in China, and he needs to learn Chinese to help expand it. Ling offers him some of the durian fruit her brother gave her. Lu looks at the fruit, and when Ling asks if he is hungry, he says yes. They both enjoy the fruit together in class. Ling then drives Lu home and returns to her own house. Later that night, Ling's husband comes home drunk. Ling tells him she had asked him not to drink, but he says he had to drink with a client. Ling had hoped that her husband would try for a baby again, but he refuses, saying they have been trying for 8 years with no success. He goes to their room, and it is clear that their relationship has no physical intimacy anymore. Ling feels that her husband is no longer happy with her. The next day, Ling receives a call from her husband's sister, who informs her that her son has been born and invites them to a party at her house to celebrate. The three of them get ready, and her husband drives Ling and her father-in-law to his sister's house before leaving for work. The house is beautifully decorated, and when Ling holds the baby, it starts crying. Her husband's sister takes the baby from her, and a woman mocks Ling for not having a child, implying that she wouldn't know how to take care of one. This deeply hurts Ling. The next day, Lu visits Ling, and since his foot has healed, he is about to begin training in Chinese martial arts. He asks Ling to change the timing of the extra classes because it conflicts with his martial arts training. She agrees, since no one else attends the extra classes anyway. Lu is happy, and they continue their sessions. One day, Ling receives a call from her husband asking her to come home because her father-in-law is alone. She takes Lu to her house since his class hasn't finished yet. When they arrive, Ling introduces Lu to her father-in-law, who is in a wheelchair. Lu ends up spending time with him and even learns some things from him, making Ling happy. After having dinner, Lu leaves and Ling continues with her routine. A few days later, Ling undergoes a surgery to increase her chances of getting pregnant. Before the surgery, she calls her husband, but he doesn't answer. The surgery fails, and Ling is devastated. When her husband finds out, he becomes even more distant from her, believing she can't give him a child. Their marriage is now just a name, with no love between them. Ling understands this and is even more saddened after the surgery. She becomes depressed and distant, even in her classes. Lu, however, has a national-level Chinese martial arts competition coming up, and he invites Ling to watch him compete. On the day of the competition, Ling comes with her father-in-law, and Lu performs excellently, winning a gold medal. Since no one from Lu's family came to support him, Ling takes him and her father-in-law to her brother's durian fruit shop to celebrate. They enjoy the fruit together, and Ling feels that they make a happy family. Later, Ling begins to develop feelings for Lu. When they are alone, she finds herself attracted to him, but she feels conflicted, knowing it is wrong. Lu tries to get closer, but she constantly stops him. One day, while Ling is shopping, she sees her husband with another woman, realizing he is cheating on her. She returns home in tears, but doesn't tell anyone about it. Later, when Ling tries to wake her father-in-law from sleep, she realizes he has passed away in his sleep. During the funeral, Ling sees the woman and her son, whom she had previously seen with her husband. Ling feels that her husband secretly married this woman, and the child is his son. A few days later, Ling returns to class and one of the boys is bothering her. Lu defends her by hitting the boy with a book, and when the principal finds out about this, he calls Ling to the office. He shows her pictures of herself that Lu had secretly taken over time. These pictures were taken when she was at school or when Lu visited her house. Ling is shocked, realizing that Lu has liked her for a long time. The principal suspends Lu and gives Ling some time off, advising her to end whatever is happening between them. Later, Ling decides to end the relationship with Lu and tells him she cannot continue it. Heartbroken, Lu gets out of the car and stands in the rain, and Ling goes after him. He hugs her, knowing this is their last meeting. Ling finally decides to divorce her husband, telling him to be happy with his new wife and son. After returning home, she takes a pregnancy test, and she finds out that she is pregnant. She is happy but also confused, unsure whether the child is her ex-husband's or Lu's. Ling goes to Malaysia to stay with her mother for a while, and